G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Screen Printing Club. Here with Sam and I'm Josh. Here on another Thursday night this time.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Good to see you, my old mate. How you been keeping?
We've been good. We've been nice and busy, enjoying the warmer weather.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
I'm sure we're going to be complaining about it soon. We've already complained
Too
about it a
hot.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Yeah, Toowoomba gets pretty warm, in the summer.
It's a bit both ways. Yeah,
Really
yeah.
cold in the winter. I mean, I worked there for a little while in the summer and I was
Mm.
shocked because it's pretty high up, isn't it? It's up on the
Mm.
mountains, yeah. Um, but yeah, it was very hot.
Yeah, bit
Well,
windy as well. So
it got hot here last week for a day. But there've been nice clear days, but not super hot, kind of like 20,
I think
22.
last time I spoke to you was when we did a podcast was when there was all that snow as well, so it's changed a bit since
Yeah,
then.
that was a nightmare. Real nightmare. Glad we got beyond that. Um, all the damage that it caused. So, how have things been going in the sense of sales? When we last spoke, I think we were both kind of scratching our heads a bit about August. September ended really well for us. We're really pleased with the results. We beat the target. How did your September go? Did it all kind of come back?
Yeah, I was looking yesterday, and I was kind of surprised because August when we were in August, I was like, it's not that awesome, but I didn't really look that hard, sort of end of August, but I think it sort of started to pick up for us halfway through August, and I think that made up for the rest for the start of like July for us wasn't good, and then halfway through August. Um, but yeah, apparently those last sort of 2 weeks made up for the previous 2 weeks in August, and then last month, yeah, it was solid. We another good month was probably our August ended up actually only just being our second best month.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, and then September was just a little bit below that within sort of a few $100 of things. So
Yeah,
but
wow.
in it's changed a lot sort of within the last 6 months. Our sales has it's increased a lot compared to previously. So
That's great.
yeah, it's interesting. We seem to get to the same sort of cap though. So that's interesting as well. We get sort of around that same sort of point, um, which is interesting if that is our sort of cap or what we can do to increase that without feeling like we're sort of run off our feet. So
So you're saying there your sales have increased, but you're at sort of maximum capacity output. Is that what you mean?
yeah, it feels like I feel like we're quite efficient with our production and stuff. So it feels like the sales, um, what's holding us back is sort of our what we can manage sales wise and customer service wise while still giving a really good experience.
Yeah.
Um, but it's we we don't do a lot of like really big orders. We'll do heaps of those sort of smaller orders. So there's a lot of legwork
Mm,
involved in that, I guess.
mm, yeah. To be able to increase each transaction value
Mm.
makes it a lot more efficient to a point, right? And I think some shops kind of dream about having orders of 5,000 and upwards garments and, sounds terrific, but it's the other end of the scale in terms of it makes a total mess of all your order book because you just can't get through them quick enough. Then
Yeah.
I feel like shops need to be careful not to, smaller mid-sized shops ought to be, like us, ought to be kind of really careful about not growing that too quickly or going for the like picking the whole tree of fruit it seems good, but
Mhm.
actually choosing the good fruit on the tree is better. Um,
Yeah.
and I think there's a sweet spot, which might be different for different shops. But yeah, I get it. But your minimum is like 500 anyway, right? Like it's
I
crazy.
wish.
What is your minimum? 50 or something?
Four. Oh,
Oh,
50
four.
for 50 for screen printing,
Oh, right.
but
Okay.
embroidery and digital's four.
Right.
So
Okay.
because of all the uniforms we do.
Gotcha. Because you've got to
Yeah,
cater for like just a plumber working on his own type thing, as well
exactly.
as
Yeah.
a bigger company. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard.
Mm.
Um, but then you charge a premium for that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, but when I compare our prices to sort of the retail like workwear shops, it's about the same anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to know how to do that. I remember years ago when I was had an IT company in the UK, we'd sort of built it up from nothing. Didn't really know what we were doing
Mm.
in terms of running a business, but it kind of grew and grew. And we got to a particular size where we actually needed to go to the customers that were going to give us a lot more business, which was the next jump up. And so we started marketing into that space and started getting much bigger contracts. This is in the 1990s. So it was a fairly vertical market back then.
Mm.
But what it meant ultimately is I had to say to our smaller customers, you're actually too small for us. And it drove them, they got really angry
Mm-hmm.
because, they'd grown perhaps with us and supported us and so on. And we eventually had to say we can't, and you don't want to do that in our industry. You want to be able to cater
Yeah.
for everyone if you can. But occasionally we do point people to other printers, say, look, here's someone local and, they'll help you out. And,
Mm-hmm.
people seem to be okay about that.
Mm.
Um, okay, I'm going to come back to that a little bit because I'm going to update you on a little bit later on where we've been going with a new brand, which
Mm-hmm.
I think resolves that question for us. Our minimum is now 25 and the deals kick in at 60 and then don't drop much in terms of the costs per t-shirt if you go up to 100, 150, 200. If you get to like 500, then the prices get better. But we find that kind of 60 to 250, 300 is a really nice sweet spot in terms of really making the money, getting the deal to work in there. And then below 60, we start charging quite a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
down to 25. But yeah, it's a difficult thing, isn't it? Isn't it? Because there's no one answer for all shops,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It just so you got to find your own way a bit, I think, on it, and work out what works for you in that space. Okay, cool. Anything else been happening?
How deep do we want to get yet?
How do what?
How deep do we want to get
Oh, okay.
at this
Well,
early?
that sounds interesting. Throw it at us, man. Let's do it.
um, okay, well, so probably what propped us up, maybe that end of August or September as well. We've been working on it for a long time. It's been a lot of back and forth. It's a clothing brand, so you know,
Yep.
the
Yep.
but the I was surprised they went for it. They placed a really big order,
Oh wow.
um, just straight out like they haven't done anything before, and they just yeah they're doing this big order with us,
Wow.
um, and I'm not sure it's very niche, um, and I actually can't say anything because we signed some like confidentiality contracts and whatever else. She's doing it very well, I guess, properly, but it's very very niche, and I'm not sure. It could go either way. We could
Mm.
be proven wrong, but she's dropping. it was like a $24,000 order, and just for not being from like just not even testing the waters. Like she only put her Instagram up the other day, so
You're
but they
kidding.
paid. So yeah,
Wow.
I don't know.
Did you kind of say to them,
Well,
just
I
take the
thought
money, or did you just,
I sort of I had like the on each shoulder. I was like, do we talk to him? Say, do you want to just do like a smaller order first and see how you go? But it was also when we were doing really badly with sales. I was like, she's a big girl; she can make her own decisions.
yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, so we're doing that job now. But um, like I said, she's been doing it very sort of properly, maybe. But that's involved like she's wanted to do some contracts on the confidentiality. She's thinks we're gonna like is worried that we'd sell her designs or whatever else.
Oh, okay. Right, right.
Um, and then we're doing what sort of held us up from production is this like another contract. I don't even know what it's called. Sort of just an understanding about location or like with like our tolerances and stuff. And we do have like terms and conditions on our website that has that information in, but I guess it was just in another contract just for her with that sort of outlines the whole lot, um, which is interesting because we haven't really done contracts for anyone. So I'm not sure how many of those you have to deal with. Um, but one part of that contract um, we were looking at this morning said it sort of outlined shipping and stuff, and that we sent it to her and she sent it like an amended one, and one of those amendments was that we ship with a reputable courier, but we're responsible for that until it gets to them and it's signed and received by them. And it just I thought it was interesting. I'm not sure. What are you? Who do you think's responsible for the garments once it leaves here before it gets to
Mm.
the customer?
This is a really good question, I reckon.
Mm.
Let me start by telling a story. We had one just last week. It was a pizza place, and I can't remember what they ordered, but let's say it was 100 t-shirts. And we sent them off, and didn't hear anything else, which is pretty standard.
Mm.
No news is good news unless you get a review.
Mm.
And TNT or FedEx called us. That's who we used to ship,
Mm.
and said, "Has this order been delivered?" There was a lady on the phone. I was like, "What do you mean? It's been delivered? It went out 2 weeks ago, or whatever, and this is them calling last week. Surely you know whether it's been delivered." Well, we can't get in touch with the customer. I said, "But you're trying to contact the customer, which is perfectly cool, and you don't know whether it's delivered." And she said it was in Canberra, I think. They tried to deliver, the person wasn't in, so they took it to a dropping point for them to go back and get it,
Mm.
sort of like round the corner rather than back to the depot. And Canberra's not very big, so I don't know why they
Mm.
did that. And I was like, "What do you mean a dropping point? What's the dropping point?" Well, it's, I think she said it was a pharmacist around the corner. And I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea what you're on about now." Anyway, it turns out that what they've done is they have a number of people in certain locations who will act as a kind of, you know, proxied go between for things like that. It was only like a box or two boxes or whatever, right?
Mm.
Um, and they hold it, and then the customer gets notification, and they go to the pharmacist in this case. They sign for it and take it home. And I said, "So what's the big deal?" Like I said, I didn't know you guys did that. I find that a bit weird, because you kind of handed over responsibility to someone who sells drugs, in a good way. Um, and sorry, long story. I don't know how to make it shorter, but surely you know where it is. And they said, well, it's no longer at the pharmacist. And I
Oh,
said, this is not my responsibility. This is where it hopefully touches your question. This is now your responsibility and has been since we put it on the truck here. And she said, well, we can't get in touch with your customer. And I said, um, I'm your customer. You have lost my customer's product. You are responsible. And anyways, they started emailing the customer and copying me in. A few days later, the customer just wrote back and said, oh, yeah, no, we've got them. Not a problem. We're wearing them.
oh,
All fine. Total, like, and anyway, FedEx apologized to us. Another anecdote, years ago now, we shipped something somewhere. It got delayed, it got lost, eventually it got found and they delivered it. But one of the boxes had been dropped in oil and it
oh,
had seeped through. And I thought, oh, that's a real bummer, especially given it went missing. And they were pretty cool about it. I said, look, we just reprint those and we'll send them out again, which is what we did. I then tried to recover the cost of all of that from FedEx, and they
mhm.
told me to get stuffed. They said
Okay.
it's not insured. So to come to your question, I think there's two answers here. One is from our customers' perspective, we're 100% responsible because we always use this language, don't we? That yes, we produce a product, but really it's a customer service industry, like all industries are really.
Mm,
It's about how you feel about what we've done and created, which includes getting it to you. So from their perspective, we're 100% liable for that. So it doesn't turn up, goes missing, gets stolen, whatever,
mm,
it's our fault. Um, from my perspective, the moment it goes on a truck, it's the responsibility of the courier, but I cannot make them accountable.
mm.
So it almost doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can say to the customer, yep, we're responsible. We'll get another batch or whatever it is and send them out again. But because I can't make FedEx pay for that, and it does go wrong now and again, things do go missing, especially in COVID.
Hmm.
Everything went to pieces for a while, didn't it? But the only caveat I was going to give to that was, if the customer's given us the wrong address, which happened recently,
Hmm.
um, and I think it was, somebody ordered and someone else gave us the address and they gave us the right town, the right street in the right state. Um, and I think it was like number 3
Uh,
that they're at, but we got the number 1, which is what this other person had given us. And I said, well, just go and knock on the door of number 1 and say,
I think you've
if
done
these
something.
boxes turn up, could you give me a ring? And the guy said, there isn't a number 1. And I'm like, well, how can there be a 3? It just doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
Apparently, it's one of these roads where the houses are being built and they haven't.
Oh, okay. Oh, this. Right.
So, or the other caveat might be like if a customer makes an arrangement with FedEx to drop off unsigned, then we're not responsible. That occasionally
Hmm.
happens. Um, but it very rarely goes wrong, in my
Yeah.
experience. I mean, when it does, you just have to reprint them and send them again. So I think this, imagine it, you spent 5 grand or whatever on t-shirts, you're excited about them, they don't show up. The supplier is saying, oh, I'll speak to FedEx, and FedEx is going, well, we don't know where it is.
Hmm.
All you've got is an angry customer, and ultimately they're not angry with FedEx, they're angry with
Yeah.
you. So I think I have to, every time that happens, just have to own it again. Yep, customer services will sort it out, no problem. That's the way I look at it. But it's a nightmare making someone like FedEx or DHL or whoever accountable.
Hmm.
You know, um,
Is
uh,
there insurance as part of like like FedEx or TNT? Was there an option to add insurance for? I can't
I, th-
remember. I don't really book our shipping, to be honest, but
I think there is. I don't book hours. I could log in a second, have a look though, but I don't think it does anything. I think you tick a
mm,
box,
yeah,
but there's no, it, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't, you know, I'll check it out in a sec. Um, but we've never ever been able to get any compensation from them.
right.
Um,
Because I wasn't worried. Like we've never really had anything go wrong. I don't think we might have had some like delays and stuff, but we've never nothing has been lost before. But like I was thinking if they get wet or something, I don't really want to replace an order that size. I don't want to wear that cost.
so you're
Um,
shipping this in one load, this 20 grand order in one load.
yeah,
You could just
might
part
go for
ship
a
it.
bloody drive actually because it's only in Brisbane. Maybe it's
Oh,
better
right.
peace of
Okay.
mind.
But it'll probably
So,
be cheaper. Have they got a forklift at the other end?
um, no, it's to a house.
I
So,
just
and
hire a van, drive it down there.
yeah, that might give it a
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Make sure they sign for it though.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but if you were shipping that, let's say to Perth or something, you could do it in part shipments if you were concerned. But
Mm,
yeah, just check out the insurance on it.
yeah.
I mean, it's unlikely to go wrong, but an order like that, you'd normally want to get on pallets. It'll be more cost effective
Yeah.
if you're not taking it. Um,
Do you ship everything with TNT or FedEx?
yeah, generally.
Even the residential
Yep,
stuff? Do
yep.
they destroy you on price for the residential deliveries?
They charge more. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But we've charged the customer. Yeah, it sort of works out in the end. What I mean by that, it's like the let rule in tennis. It seems like it's sort of unfair now and again, but actually it sort of balances out.
Mm,
We might accidentally overcharge a little bit on something without realizing, then another one might cost a little bit more. Um, Basically, the rule with FedEx that we found is keep it below 14 kilos because they're unionized, and anything above 14 kilos, oh, we've got to use a pallet truck or something. It's quite
mm,
ridiculous.
mm.
Um, but I get it if you're lifting boxes all the time, every day. So they charge extra for that. And if it's domestic, they charge extra as well. You'll get a surcharge anyway because all carriers work on dead weights. I've never quite been able to work out what a dead weight is because you give them dimensions and you give them a weight. They then go, oh, that's a weight, but it actually, in terms of the shape of the box, it's worth more weight. So you
Mm-hmm.
end up getting a surcharge when you get your invoice in. And we analyze that now and again. And occasionally someone will come through and say, this is going a long reach or something, and it's $1,000. You know, did anyone charge the customer that much money? And we go, oh, did we? We usually do. Martini, when she does the quotes and it's something like that, or to Perth or something, she'll go into TNT and find out how much it is.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, they're a nightmare. They're an
Yeah.
absolute nightmare. I mean,
They
no,
do a good job for the most part, and they're generally the cheapest unless someone's in the sticks or the residential or whatever. But we've had some residentials. I'm like, that's a lot
yeah,
from
right.
what it was quoted to, and then they add on, yeah, the surcharge. I was like,
Are you
but
using a local company? Is this for local stuff?
um, but no, we use TNT and Ozpost for the most part. Um, we used to have like a one of those like broker type softwares.
Yeah,
Um,
remember those?
and that's good, but then we end up for the most of the time we are just using TNT anyway, so we just started just using TNT. But then I started looking at our invoices. I was like, Ozpost is probably worth a look sometimes, especially for those more rural um,
Mm. Mm.
addresses. Um, yeah, so we're using Ozpost a little bit more now, but otherwise everything with the box basically goes with TNT most of the time.
The other thing about us using FedEx TNT is that the guys here are amazing,
Hmm.
um, in that they know to come at one every day. Like, and sometimes they'll park on the road or just in the car park here and just wait because they know
Mm.
we've got 10 minutes until we finish. So we get everything ready for 1 o'clock. Goes
Yeah.
on the truck, all the national stuff. And um, they're so good. They're so helpful. And sometimes they turn up at one and the guys are like still boxing, and they'll go,
Hmm.
that's okay. We'll wait. Not a problem. Sometimes they
Yeah,
even
for
help
sure.
a bit. They're amazing.
Hmm.
But if we, they're very close to where we are based here. And if, we can basically take something around there at 2 o'clock and they'll put it
Hmm.
on the truck, um, if need be. So yeah, they've always been so good to us. But of course, that's just the local people.
Mm.
So I think FedEx are great. Don't get me wrong, but I just think they're all a nightmare.
Yeah.
Whoever it is,
Yeah.
there's the Oh, I'll tell you one we did have that's interesting. Now that was out in the bush somewhere, and we sent it through FedEx. And of course, FedEx eventually used a third party. The
Mm.
third party phoned our customer and said, we can't come out to where you are for a couple of weeks.
Oh, gee.
And this was a pub, I think. You'll need to come in and collect them. And it was 60 kilometers each way. And
Right.
and I did pick up the phone to TNT. I immediately refunded the customer and apologized. Picked up the phone to TNT and said, this is out of order. And they had to look into it. And they did. And they came back and said something like, we'll give you 20% discount on the cost of carriage. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I gave my customer 100% discount. And they did refund us in that
Okay.
case. Um, but yeah, generally, they can all go wrong. We call Star Trek Star Trek because
Hmm.
they had a habit of, losing everything in space kind of thing. Um, but you can be really stuck with the on freighter. So Star Trek here in Armadale don't exist. They're just on freighted to some local company who are atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I've never met a more. If you had a rule book in how to do customer services badly, they'd be ticking every box. Um, they're just terrible. Anyhow, so they kind of put us off a bit, but
Hmm.
yeah, we found, you know, them to be FedEx to be okay. So yeah, that's the way I'd look at it. It's our
Mm.
responsibility more or less until the customer gets it, unless they break a rule, make a deal with FedEx themselves, or you know, give
Yeah.
us the wrong address or whatever, which
Okay.
does happen. Um, yeah. So you're just a bit worried that she might, is she paying up front?
Hmm.
Oh, you got nothing to worry about.
No. I was surprised when it came through. I was like, all right, guess we're doing it now.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
I would just, if it's local like that, 100K or whatever, just
Yeah,
get a
we'll just
van and
do it.
take it down, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And you can understand her being concerned.
Well, it is a lot of money to drop on some t-shirts, so you'd want to hope everything's 100 for sure.
Yeah. And if it's a niche market and she can get access to it, because if you come to me and say, oh, I'd like to start a business making cornflakes,
Mhm.
I'd say you're completely insane. You're going up
Yeah.
against the biggest brands in the world. It's a totally saturated market. But if you said, you know, we've got a customer that's interested in, oh dear, I can't quite remember the language, but kids that are neurodivergent, a
Hmm.
brand around that. And that's obviously a big market, but it is very niche and you can market into it because it's niche. If you can do that, if she can do that, she'll be fine.
Yeah. We're really interested to see what happens. I hope she proves us wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Comes back with the next order,
that's
50K.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
100. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What else is happening?
So the other thing that's been happening for us, we've been getting like we're really busy at the moment, but what's also contributed to that is um one of our team members' husband was he had some cancer a few years ago, but just went for his checkup and was um, told it was back,
Oh
um,
dear.
and it was now terminal, which is
Wow.
terrible because we're pretty small. Well, we're a very small team, but we do like really get along with each other well here. So it was a bit rough for everyone sort of hearing the news because we all sort of know partners and stuff as well. But yeah, it was just it's yeah, a bit rough. But obviously, um, they weren't able. They were like, I was like, don't even like think about work or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do. We'll be fine. Um, so we've been short our graphic designer. Well, also put the story short of they said be a few months, maybe not even Christmas. Um, and
Wow.
that was it would have been 2 weeks ago on Monday.
Wow.
Sunday night, she sent me a text and said he'd passed away that morning. So within 2 weeks, that's pretty
Wow.
scary.
That's
Which is good.
hard. Feel
Yeah.
for her.
Mm.
It's very hard.
It's sort of one of those like couldn't happen to a nicer person or sort of thing. It always is, but um, yeah, it's always another one of those little reminders. Like, yeah, just do whatever. do don't go waiting too hard because you might have a plan, but there's also another plan.
Mm.
So, um, but it sort of made me think like I've sort of known for a while. I've been trying to get to the stage we can have be a little bit bigger in scale to sort of have almost like two people for each sort of department to cover ourselves. But now, like something like that sort of happens, and it's like that's it done, and it just made me think about how like it's been in the back of my head, but we just haven't really acted on it too much. But how vulnerable is your business to if one of those key people something happened and they have
Mm.
to smoke bomb?
Mm.
Um, yeah, it was just something a thought I had about what sort of SOPs or sort of multi-skilled employees you have in place or whatever.
Yeah. Wow. Um, well, firstly, really sorry to hear that. And, the repercussions of that go on for years and years, in terms of your colleagues'
Mm,
pain and experience. And I think as you as a boss and a co-worker have such a great opportunity to love them and help them
mm,
get through that. And teams do that well, right? That's partly what a team does, apart from play the game well or run the business well, they're there for each other. So
yeah.
you have an opportunity to do that, assuming she can return to work and everything.
Mm,
Um, and I think the other thing to say is that all businesses are vulnerable from this. They're vulnerable from lots of things, losing market share or competition or whatever, bad management. Um, but they're all vulnerable from staff becoming sick or having to leave or whatever.
mm,
Um, and you'll never get employees to think the way you need to think about a business in terms of your mental and physical and financial investment. So that's really important to say because for some people, making a decision to leave is much easier for them
mm-hmm.
than it is for you to accept it.
Hmm.
If you see what I mean, right?
That's right.
And seldom do you have an employee saying, I'm not very well, but I'm going to keep working for you. Of course, that can happen, but you have a duty of care to people. But so we are vulnerable, but I don't know what the answer is. Like it's a perennial issue for every business.
Mm.
We
I guess.
had last week one of our guys had COVID,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
came back. I think he missed all of last week, and he came back Tuesday this week. I think, yeah, no, yesterday, and it affects our performance. But
Mm.
um, how to protect? Well, you can't stop it. So,
Mm.
like you're alluding to, you've got to work out how to make the team cover more for one another and cross train. But I feel like some jobs you just can't cross train.
Mm.
Next week, Martini, it's a holiday on Monday. She's taking Tuesday, Wednesday off. And today, Lydia said to me she'd like to take the whole of next week off. And I thought, well, it's a 4-day week. That's fine, go for it. And then I realized I'm covering for Martini on
Mhm.
Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know who's here in the team, but you know what I mean? I can't say to someone else, well, you do sales and
Mm.
quotes and mock ups and ordering stock because they'd be like, I don't know how to do that. Same way as I
Mm.
couldn't put Martini on a press. So there's
Yeah.
some roles you just can't cross train.
Yep.
And I guess if this is your designer, that's a particularly hard one to train others on. It comes back to you, does it?
Yeah. Well, luckily, Bella, she does sales and stuff, and she has a little bit of a background. She can do a fair bit of stuff. So it's, yeah, between me and Bella been doing it, but it's like she used to she used to do 3 days a week, and that 3 days a week has got to go somewhere now. Like it
Yeah,
still has to
right.
get done.
Yeah.
So when I was already pretty busy as it was, all of us. So um, thankfully we can sort of fumble our way through for the most part, but those more complex design things or sublimation jobs and stuff we do, that's sort of where we're struggling.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
hard. Just going to have to find a way to outsource it, I guess.
Yeah, I've been chatting to another designer locally that I've heard about in the past and talking to them about a bit of like freelance work on the side just for those sort of jobs if they can just do a little bit on the side for that. So that might tie us over. I'm not really sure what the plan is. I haven't even asked, um, but uh, we definitely want her role open when and if she decides to come back. So
Yeah. Yeah.
just trying to see how we make it all happen in the meantime, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
And just to get kind of philosophical for a second on it, um, I really like this business and like the industry we're in. I really enjoy working at the Ministry of Shirts. Um, you know, I kind of love it, really. I think it's amazing, fun. But if I make this too much about money, in terms of we've got to turn a profit, I want to earn more money, not that I earn anything, or I want Lydia to earn more, or the guys to earn more, rather than saying what I say to everyone here, which is if you work hard for the company will work hard for you, assuming we have sales,
Mm-hmm.
because this isn't about Sam getting rich.
Mm.
This is about us enjoying our work and getting well remunerated for it. Um, I think that's really important because we have to be capitalistic, but we don't have to, like, we have to be capitalistic in terms of structure and market, but we don't have to have a capitalist mentality in terms of how we work together. Hence, we do bonuses and pay rises and those sorts of things. Um, and part of that isn't money. Part of that is, I've got to do something important on Thursday can I take the day off, when it's Wednesday, right?
Mm.
And we just try and make it happen because I feel like if you become too dollar focused, at the end of the day, people are like, well, I'm just a number, not a name. I don't really feel like I belong. Um, but if you can develop a team that actually enjoy working with one another, um, and you can be there for if something happens.
Mm.
Um, I spend not every Wednesday morning, but a lot of Wednesday mornings with one person that works here, just mentoring them for an hour, quite early at 7:30, because they want some sort of help and support in certain areas. And I think that's the most fruitful part of my week. I enjoy that great, because
Mm.
I get to try and help someone. I feel like if they weren't here, they wouldn't have that. So there are those kind of things as well to help people feel like they belong. And you spend so much time, especially bosses, so much time at work,
Mm.
you know? And I hate to quote cliches because, they're overquoted, but no one says on their deathbed, I wish I'd spent more time at the office, right? Um, and it's true. Like, so yeah, to be able to kind of manage all of that, make the team feel loved, um, value them. We do, there's a gourmet big burger place here called Burger Urge. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
national.
Mm.
Um, and whenever it's someone's birthday or we've had a really big week and everyone's worked really hard, we just get a Burger Urge on a Friday. We just
Yeah.
call it the Burge Friday. And yeah, we kind of try and live it up a bit as much as we can. And
Mm.
um, but yeah, that's so hard to deal with. Um, I think I told you the story of one of our employees the week we were actually finally all physically moving to the new premises on the Monday. So it was all going to happen, right? The trucks were ready and the forklifts were, D-Day. We got a text from her saying, it's all been too stressful. I'm resigning.
Uh,
Could you do that next week? But I respect that. And it was hard and it was heavy and stressful, but it was a shame. I feel
mm.
like I could have worked harder to help that person be less stressful, but it is what it is.
Mm.
Yeah, we are vulnerable. I won't say who it is because they may be listening and may not want me to share, but we do have a friend in the industry who's sort of semi-retired from the actual business, although he owns it, I think, with his wife. And they went on holiday and came back, and some of the staff, I think, had to kind of manage some of their work and realized how stressful and big it is.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
consequently, that I think some of them sort of moved on, which meant that my friend, who doesn't normally work in the business, was suddenly on the press and
Oh,
loading
yeah.
and unloading or whatever he was doing. And you think, man, I don't want to be in a situation where I have
No.
to do that. But sometimes that's what going to be what it's like, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was unloading the other day. Can't remember. It's hard work. Yeah. But even with the best team in the world, things are going to go wrong as
I
have
guess
happened
that's
to
just
you.
it. Yeah, there's always
Yeah.
going to be, yeah, that's just the journey. It's just,
You just can't account for it, can you? You just don't know what's going to happen.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, can I tell you some things that have been going on with us?
I'd
Give you
love
some
to.
update on our crazy house. Things are going well. As you know, August was pants for us. I think in the end we were 40% down on our target. But last month flew the target out of the water, which is great. And now we go for our kind of crazy run up to Christmas with all the kids' camps for January.
Hmm.
So that's good, but it was a little bit scary. I got to be honest, thinking, it's got all these extra overheads, and it looks like sales are down a bit. Um, our DTF machine is unbelievable. It just goes on and on and on and on. There's some real, we've learned the hard way that they're very finely tuned machines
Okay.
from, getting the ink right to getting the temperature right to getting good film to making sure everything's lined up really well, the right powder, the right temperature in the ovens, and the right duration in the ovens.
Hmm.
Ours has got an oven on the top, and it also kind of comes around and goes down. So kind of
Uh,
got two aspects to it, and what vacuums to use, and like there's so many little variables as there always are in our industry. Um, but when you nail it, I think we're there now. It's brilliant. It's so
okay.
good. And with the rock impress, it works fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, and just eats jobs. And we had one of the guys who normally only works on the screen press on the rock today, and he was like, "It's really easy." Sort of unloading, you put a garment on, it comes back with this massive color print on it. But I'm also learning to play with artwork a little bit more in terms of
Yeah.
making that really good for DTF print.
Hmm.
Um, and there's lots of tricks. It's like learning a whole new discipline, really.
Mm.
Um, and the software that we use, the RIP software, is called Neo Stamper, and it's it's really really good. Um, but again, there's a lot to learn in it, and getting that just right. I spoke to Tajima just a couple of days ago about the flatbed
Mm. Okay, I know
cutter.
about that.
Yeah, they've got one there for us, and I've sort of said to them, it doesn't quite work with Neo Stamper the way I want, with the
Uh,
QR codes and that kind of stuff. Um, and they're getting that upgraded, but it'll take a while. So I've put that on hold until it's ready, and I'll go down and check it works, and then we'll get that in. Um, but yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. The DTF ovens have a filter. It's a separate unit that takes the hot air out of the actual oven.
oh yeah.
On the film, there's an oil, and it vaporizes at that point in the oven, and it goes up the flue into the filter system, which then goes up through another flue out of the building. And what I hadn't, because I know nothing about engineering or science, what I hadn't realized is that when that vapor cools, it turns back into an oil. So today I was just doing a little bit of work on it, I realized that the flue that comes out of it does a kind of big S bend, and
It's
another
like a
S.
toilet.
And I was cutting it down to size to make it less like that. And so I cut this huge chunk out, not realizing it inside it was totally full of oil. And I just, folded up the flue so it was really small, and it just went everywhere. Oh man. Um, so it was just a stupid thing that happened. But yeah, we need new filters already. So what we had that 3 or 4 months maybe, and
Jeez, it's been that long already. Yeah.
yeah, it's certainly 2 to 3 months.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I've been researching getting film from China, chatting to Jacob a bit at Death Click about that,
Mhm.
just to get maybe different kind of film and maybe cheaper, to be honest.
Mhm.
Not that it's terribly expensive. So yeah, we've got some filming to test, but yeah, we're enjoying it. It works. We use a guillotine for cutting with um, uh, crop marks to help cut to
Okay.
size for the rock.
Is that easier with your with your RIP software to gang it in your software rather than
Yeah,
in Illustrator?
yeah, it's really
Okay.
easy. Um, I think it's called Mosaic. You click on it and it just says how many do you want, and you type it in. What spacing do you want between each bit?
Oh,
Yeah, it's really cool.
that's
Um,
sick.
yeah,
Could you do that even if you didn't have a printer to gang sheets faster? Because we just do it manually in Illustrator, but we're just playing Tetris.
Um,
basically.
you mean if you had Neo Stamper?
And we just exported it as a PNG or something, and then uploaded that to our printer,
You probably could do
DTF
that.
printer.
You probably could do that, yeah.
That could be easy.
Um,
It'd save us a lot of time.
and it's got nesting functions as well. So, because we kind of put a big back print with a left chest together and they get cut
Oh,
together, which
okay.
saves time. So there's a little bit of waste, but it's so cheap when you're buying it yourself anyway. It's $1.20 a meter is roughly what it is.
Yeah,
The
right.
cost of printing is the ink is very, very cheap. Even the white, which you use a lot of. So there's a nesting feature. So you could literally just dump all of the artwork on it and just say nest, multiply by whatever it is you need, and it would do that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure how you'd output it. I guess it could be saved out. I'm not sure. I'll have a look at that and find out. But I
Hmm.
think the software is pretty pricey on its own.
Okay.
But there are other nesting. There's some online nesting software.
I've heard of it. I tried one that what's his Matt Marcotte from Printava and that Print GPT or whatever tried, but I guess I didn't really. Probably should spend a bit more time. I just had to play with it one day, and I struggled with it a little bit. So for the way we gang it, I guess we try and make the most of our meterage, I guess. But
Right.
yeah, if you got a printer and it's that cheap, then you wouldn't even bother
No.
spending too much time.
Although sometimes you go, be good to use that space up. It's more the hassle of reloading a 100-meter roll. It's a real nuisance.
Okay.
Um, because you got basically one of the issues with these bigger DTF printers is by the time you get the film to come out on the print bed, to get it from there to the roll at the back is
Mm,
3.2 meters.
okay.
And you look at it and go, well, it's $4, big deal. But if you have to start and stop 3 or 4
Yeah.
times in a day, you're going to run out of a lot. Going to use a 100-meter roll very quickly. And we've got a hack that we use for that saves it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of annoying. There are a few things like that are a bit annoying, but I mean, what else can you do? It's meant for mass production. You can't really just run off one. Um, so sometimes you kind of get everything set up in the morning and as separate jobs, and you just start running them. And we could run ours for 6 hours, and then another little job comes up that we need to do quickly or whatever. One happened today for something that somebody's paying for something to be printed tomorrow. And you think, well, we'll just put that on the DTF. But then you're going, wow, there's only 20 minutes left of the print run, you know,
Oh,
because you
yep.
don't want it to stop,
Oh,
right?
you got to have it loaded to keep going.
Because if
Right.
you stopped it
Oh,
and
it
did the
can't.
artwork, there's a ton of prints that haven't gone through the oven. There's a
Mm,
ton that's sitting in the oven
hmm.
cooking, right? They're going to come out like chip packets or something. So it it's kind of a little bit tricky. There are ways of kind of cooling things down and putting them on hold for a bit, but it's um it's a kind of get it going and just keep adding to it until you run out of time
Hmm.
and or film. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we're loving it. But yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve. Um, two other things I was going to share. One that's completely unrelated to screen printing or businesses or anything. This morning I woke up and noticed we've got cameras at work for security,
Hmm.
and we have them at the house as well. And I noticed one of the cameras had triggered, and I thought, oh, I wonder who that was. I assumed it was down here, but it was actually the camera on the back patio veranda at our house.
Hmm.
And there were some people trying to break into the house,
Oh, gee.
but there were 9 of them,
Holy.
and one of them had a machete. And fortunately, we're all crim safed or crim meshed or whatever it is. So they just kind of wandered around and made fools of themselves. But that was like What? That's insane. Nine
Yeah.
people, like all kind of youths,
Uh-huh.
um, creeping around. So
What
that was
time was it?
4 a.m., 3 minutes past four.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, anyway, went down to the cop shop, shared the video. Um, anyway, that was that. You never know. You got to be careful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they just break in and say, "Give us the keys, give us your phone," and then they leave,
Uh,
take your car and smash it up. Um,
yeah.
but on a more interesting, perhaps, or uplifting note, we have Deco Network running,
Ah.
and we have our new brand live, and we're planning to launch for December. That's the idea. Already
Mm-hmm.
had a couple of sales. We haven't, so this is, you know, the full-on new brand owned by the Ministry of Shirts that just, as you know well, allows you to kind of design online, upload your design or whatever, and buy online.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, give us your money so that we don't have to do quotes and things. And it builds up to the normal kind of Ministry of Shirts pricing when you hit 60 that you'd
Okay.
get if you were coming to us direct. But for anything below that or below 25, price goes up
Mm.
or starts up. Um, and the beauty of that is we can cater for those smaller orders. It'll all just be DTF'd and we just add it. Got to kind of integrate the business processes a bit with what we currently do. We were looking at that today, but quite excited about that. Had a
Mm-hmm.
customer the other day who said, "Oh, I want a sample." I said, "That's fine. Go through our sister company." I gave them the address,
Mm-hmm.
pay for it. It'll come through. We'll print it and it'll go out. So for things like that, I think it'll be useful as well. But I'm
Yeah.
quite excited about that.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, Deco Network's pretty cool.
It's a did how much of it this like is it set up all the way? Yeah.
Fully set up. I haven't integrated it with Zero.
Yep.
I was talking to the accountant about it. I just want to, really work it out first. But yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
integrated, it's running, it's live. The
Yep.
hub, we use the hub
Yep.
as well as the admin and obviously the website design, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's a bit yeah. But no, I love it. We couldn't do what we do without it, particularly with the embroidery side of things. Would struggle to price things correctly, I guess. So
It
yeah,
it actually builds the stitches as well, doesn't it?
yeah, that's because that was when I first started thinking about like when we scale and add some like sales stuff. It's like without knowing much about embroidery, when you can look at a logo, you can say if you're experienced, you're like that's going to be X amount of stitches. But if you don't have that experience, it's a bit hard to guess. So you can either overshoot or undershoot, and the deco sort of takes the guesswork. Sometimes it's a bit iffy. I'm like, it's probably going to be less than that, so I can look after the customer and price a bit better. But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It is. The back end processes, I thought when you get to that level, you'd be able to kind of tinker with the processes and drop some of them out or
Mm.
streamline them, but it's all fixed as far as I can tell. You can't,
You
and it
sort of have
is
to
a,
work with the software.
yeah, it's a little bit
It,
clunky,
yeah,
you
you,
know.
we had to change a few things to make it work right with it, but now it's just how we do our process, which is handy.
So you had to change your internal processes to fit with it.
Just a Yeah, we just had to tweak a few things and just make sure it sort of worked in with it rather than sort of against it.
Yeah,
But it is definitely very powerful. But yeah, sort of one of those you can use as much or as little as you want, but you can make it or you can make it as much of a headache as you want as well, a little bit as well.
yeah, it's weird because you've got this kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but you get an order in, you have to turn the order into a purchase order in theory to order the stock,
Mm.
and then you have to receive that, which it all makes sense as I say it now,
Hmm.
but you basically can't move forward very quickly. Um, and so dovetailing that in with what we currently do
Hmm.
is is a little bit trickier, but because we're going to end up
Yeah.
running two systems here,
Okay.
but ultimately it'd be good if it was just one. But yeah, I mean, it took me a few days to really get the build done, um, and you do kind of lose your mind in that a little bit. You kind of go mad, but
Mm.
it's running, it's functional, it's taking money, it's taking orders. Um, so yeah, thanks for the recommendation on that. I looked at a couple of other things that would integrate with Wix
Hmm.
or Shopify,
Is
and
anything decent around for Shopify yet?
no, I mean there's two or three apps, but yeah, they're just not great in my view. They just they do some of it, but not enough.
Hmm.
So you could live without the back end as long as you got the order
Mm.
money. But so I wasn't necessarily that interested in that from Deca Network, but now I've got it, I go, yeah, that's really good. Um, you'll recall that Angel from Halo Print was talking about the system they were using. I had a quick look at that as well, and that's really good. And it's a really quick plug-in. For me,
Hmm.
the problem with that is I didn't have any control over the software. It was all managed for us by someone else, in terms of the
Which one was
setup.
that?
Yeah, I thought you might ask me. I can't remember. Um, I'll find out for next time.
Okay.
And they're an Australian crowd, and it was great. Worked really well. Nice builder. But yeah, I just felt like I needed more control over
Mm.
putting in new products and that kind of thing. And the Deca network, I just said, give me AS Color for now.
Hmm.
Just put it all in.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Really good. So yeah, so I'm really thrilled about that
Awesome.
and hopeful that we'll develop some more revenue from that stream. Yeah.
Have have those sales you've received so far just been organic ones from people searching and stuff, or?
One of them has been organic.
Yep.
This went live Thursday last week, a week ago.
Okay.
Um, and so one of them was organic. The others have been where people have come on and looked for something less than 25. And I've just pointed them
Ah, you linked
at the
that way.
site.
Yeah,
It's,
awesome.
I said, this is our sister brand. It's still us, but, transactions are managed online and they've just done them online.
Yeah,
So,
cool. And
yeah.
how's that artwork been so far
Well, I
that
printed
they've
one
supplied?
today. I'd look at it. They've supplied that one was just sort of pink PNGs. And I looked at it on the screen and I was like, I don't know if that's going to look that good. It actually looked great, but
Okay.
I haven't had one yet where you go, no, we need to write back and say, you need to give us some better artwork.
Hmm.
But that's not too hard. We do that, we have that with our normal work, right?
Yep.
Um, but
Are you
yeah,
doing MOQ one for those?
am I doing who?
Just an MOQ of one
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I thought about making it two or three or whatever, but I don't know.
Mm.
Seems, if you get paid enough to do one and there's 100 of them in a day, then, how
Yeah,
hard can it be kind of thing. Um, but yeah, it's good. I really
awesome.
quite like it, quite excited about it. I can see that we could, at some point in the future, if Ministry of Shirts, want to, we could start using that for everything, doing
Hmm.
all the ordering, doing all the quotes, and just running it through there. And that might be what happens in the end. With the business, I'd quite like to run the two brands ultimately as two different companies,
Mm.
because then you can cross feed financially from one to the other. You have one as a kind of shell that just ostensibly takes revenue, and the other one takes all the money out of that one and does all
Okay.
the work. So,
Yeah,
uh, it's easy to manage a profit in that way, isn't it? Um, yeah. So I think that's all the news from me. Um,
awesome.
our output's still high. It's weird having the rock running alongside the Anatole because we just, it just feels like sometimes it feels like there's nothing happening in the sense of
Eh,
where are all the pallets? Well, they're in, but they're actually gone out again. Oh, okay, right.
eh.
It's kind of a weird scenario. So be nice if we could increase that capacity. Well, the capacity's there, but increase the revenue and sales to actually soak up more of that capacity,
Mhm.
but not too much because then, we're back where we were, not
Mm.
able to keep up with it all.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Such a balance.
yeah.
Mm.
So are you doing any more, I'm conscious of time, but are you doing any more kind of advertising things? What's your strategy on that for the moment?
We 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 haven't started yet. We were going to, but then we've just been sort of struggling to keep up now at the moment as is. But um, we want to just probably focus on our existing clients more. Um,
Good idea.
I feel like it's especially what we do. It's kind of easier money because if we can get them to place an extra order per year or a few extra hats or something, if we're doing their uniforms and they get a bit of merch, we've all got their logo, we know them. um, so that's sort of what I think we're going to focus on a bit more, and just I want to do like I want to touch base with each customer every like 3 months, maybe an email 1 month and a phone call the next,
Yeah,
or email 1 quarter, phone call the next quarter, and alternate like that just to because we've got a fair sized customer list now. But I find it's like when I've done that, like that start of August, I did that same sort of thing. I just sent an email to everyone who ordered in August last year. I was like, "How's everything going?" Just framed it as like a checkup on how it's progressing, and a fair few people came back like, "Oh, I've been meaning to
yeah,
hit
okay.
you up about placing an order. We'll send it through on the weekend or whatever." So I feel like often it's a little bit like that. Like people, they need to get stuff and they want to get stuff, but it's just they're busy. So if they can get that reminder, or while you're on the phone, be like, "Oh, yeah, what do you want? I'll send you an email with a quote or whatever now," and then they'll just pay, and it's done.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's cool.
I'd like to do that because we do have like we get along really well with all our customers. So if we can make that such like a really strong relationship with everyone by keeping in touch every a couple of times a year or whatever, um, yeah, I think that's worth it. And those extra sales there will add a lot to that sort of our total revenue, I guess.
Yeah, leveraging your current customer base. I mean, it's
Mm.
genius. So would you also send them like a newsletter email now and again, or you just do these kind of smaller campaigns where you email and then
I've
give them a phone or
Yeah, that's what I've sort of been thinking. I kind of like the idea of just a personal sounding email. Maybe the email could be it could be good to include like a pretty one from like MailChimp with photos and stuff like that. Occasionally, if we've got something cool that we've added or a little update on something.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel like it's the personal ones that I've I have like a template set up in like the we have a plugin for our Gmail that we use for like a shared mailbox and stuff, and you can create templates in there. And so when I've sent those, it looks like I'm sending it just to them about their order, and I've got some like drop downs for their uniform. So it's like hope things are being well. Just checking out how your uniforms were last time because they ordered uniforms, not merchandise that time or whatever. So it seems like I'm asking them, and they're going to reply to me because they don't want to feel rude. Whereas
Yeah,
if it's a bulk one, then everyone's like looks at it a little bit and then
yeah,
archives.
yeah, I agree. Um, that's a great idea. I've never done that. We do the big mail outs,
Mm-hmm.
which is very much sort of, putting a big net in the ocean and trying to catch a few
Yeah,
fish.
there's a lot of it's that's a lot of work to send individual emails to that many people, even if
Yeah,
I want to do a phone call, and that's going to be fun. But um, I think it's worth it if they're already your customer. I think the return would get is was more likely anyway.
We also got something right here. Haven't used these yet. Incidentally, I've got a quick shout out to do to Silvio at Pretty Gnarly Studios, who sent me a shop shirt or one of his
Mm.
designs, I think. Um,
Yeah, awesome.
yeah, no, it is a shop shirt. Thanks, Silvio. So nice. I feel like we should be doing this more, sending shop shirts to one another, as well as a nice piece of artwork he gave me. Yeah, here we go. I won't go into too much detail about this, but this kind of flyer, we're actually thinking of taking around to local businesses to try and get more of that market.
Mm.
Um, but we haven't done it yet. But that personal email or phone call to your current customers, um, we will email them as a course, as a matter of course, when we're doing all the other emails, and we tailor them a bit for different markets. So we send one like this for a brewery and one like that to the yoga groups. And then there's another one for our customers. And that always generates business
Mm.
when it goes to the customers. Um,
The existing ones.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But I hadn't thought about phoning them. I always find that a bit hard. Have you done that yet?
Not. I've done it for like ones that I get along pretty well with. I like to see the something about them, whatever, and be like, oh, use that as the excuse to ring him. Like, oh, passed you the other day, seeing how you go and whatever while I'm driving, whatever, and they appreciate that. But I feel like I think it is hard to do like it's because it's kind of a cold call, but it's not really. But I think if you can think of it from the right a different perspective is like you're not trying to sell them anything, you're just seeing how they're going and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, it makes it easier
yeah.
and just have that friendly tone. People are like, oh yeah, and yeah, if they know, then you're not trying to be like, oh, do you want to get some shirts actually while I'm here? They don't. Yeah, they'll feel a bit more at ease.
We had an interesting phone call came in. We did this last week. Oh, I don't know, probably over 100,000 emails. And one guy phoned up from WA and went absolutely mental on the phone to
Mm.
Martini and demanded that somebody phone him back to apologize for sending an email, offering deals on printed t-shirts
Mm.
that he hadn't subscribed to. And I thought, oh, this would be interesting. Anyway, she was really shaken up by it. So I phoned him and said, oh, sorry, you seem to be a bit offended, yada, yada, yada. Do you know that the individual rate of um, a business getting done by the government is something like $750,000 to 2.55 million per email? And I was like, 100,000 emails, 2.5 million. I'm in big trouble, right? And I said, yeah, I did know that. And I said, maybe you signed up through one of our other brands. Oh, cross branding. He was a marketing expert.
Mm.
Cross branding is, whatever. Anyway, he got quite shirty, and there was an a text exchange that followed. It was okay. He calmed down. And we just said sorry. But then he gave us all those stats. And I just said, yeah, the fine for, phoning people and upsetting them is also pretty bad, mate. Pull your head in. And then he was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm from Europe. Like, what difference does that make, mate? Oh, I'm from Europe. That's okay. You're allowed to be rude to people. Go for it. You know, like bizarre. But we do occasionally get people get annoyed, but generally it's okay.
Mm.
Um, they can always opt out. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Wow. Okay. So your plan now is just to work hard right up to Christmas. You got a shutdown period at Christmas.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to visit my grandparents in the UK
Oh,
in November. So that's going to be interesting, depending on what our situation is here by then.
Yeah, okay. So sorry, November, did you say?
Yeah,
Wow,
for
okay.
2 weeks. So, but yeah, otherwise I think we'll be pretty busy till then, and then um, haven't really thought about the shutdown. We kind of did this last Christmas, um, but also didn't really. I've worked and Kate came in for a few days, so I guess we'll see. But I didn't have any full time staff this last Christmas, but we will this time. So I'm not sure how that is going to work or how other people do that. But we'll
We
see
just
what
shut
happens.
down. We just do a total 2 week shutdown.
Okay.
The people on
Nothing comes
contract.
in then. No one's working. So
Yeah, I'll pop in, of course, towards the end of that period, but
hmm
that's more to do with stupidity than necessity.
hmm
Um, but I find it works best. All the contract people just get paid, all the casuals just don't, and it's all part of it. There's usually a bonus if we've got any money, and
Okay.
which helps people a bit. We have a Christmas party, which is just dinner at a pub.
You still
Uh,
pay your full-time employees as if they were there. They just don't
yeah,
come
they're
in.
contracted with holidays, so and that
Okay.
constitutes part of their holiday.
Oh, it comes out of that. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it works well. Um, yeah, and I kind of look forward to it. The hard thing is finishing the print jobs because you've got to cut it. I think we say this every year, don't we? But you've got to
hmm
cut off with the customer. You've got to say, no, it's too late.
And then you
And
say
then you've
yes.
actually got to do the actual printing and get it done in time, um, which doesn't always work well. People can get very stressed in that period. But
hmm
the last couple of years, it's not been so bad. So you got to go to Britain. Whereabouts in Britain have you got to go to?
They're in Bradford on Avon, which is near Bath.
Yeah, right.
That's an area.
Near
Which area are
Somerset.
you from?
I'm from Hampshire. Well, I'm from London, but grew up
Okay.
in Hampshire, which is
A bit
probably an
south.
hour to 2 hours east of
Oh, okay.
Bradford on Avon.
Yep.
And then I went up to Oxford and sorry, went up to Edinburgh, and then a few other places. I lived most of my life in Edinburgh or near
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm schooled in the south. It's beautiful down there. Maybe not in
Mm.
November.
It's probably it's not the greatest time to go, but we'll see.
You'll come
It'll be
back
fun
to a lot of
nonetheless.
heat though. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm sure you
Yeah.
have a good time.
I'm not sure if we'll have I don't know how much time we're gonna have, but I'd love to sneak a shop tour in somewhere, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can give you a couple of. You probably got mates over there, but should see
Not
if
too
you
many
can.
in the UK, but yeah,
I'll give you
be
some
interesting to see.
links. You should try and get to Danny in Bridlington. It's a little bit far to go.
Okay.
It's probably about 5 hours. Um, he's just got a new premises. He's about to move into
Oh yeah.
much larger.
Oh, I think I saw something on Instagram. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, awesome.
yeah. I'm really thrilled. That's tremendous. But there are others. Yeah, go and check them out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap up.
Sounds
Seven
good.
thirty. It's been good to catch up for a bit and chat.
Absolutely.
Um, if anyone's actually listening out there, although I know we do have a lot of listeners, and you want to come on the show, let us know. You can get me, Sam at ministryshirts.com.au, and you can get Josh at
Josh at northprint.com.au.
send us an email. We'd love to meet you and chat with you and learn from you. Um, yeah, apart from that, thanks for listening.
Awesome.
All
Thanks,
right. Catch you later,
Nick.
mate.
Thanks. See ya.
Take care. Bye.